This movie will show you how to blend color in hair using your base color. The techniques you will use to apply the colors will be coloring in circles and flicking.
Now on this